Well, yes, it is a dangerous place for journalists, and I think I would like to appreciate what Mr. Vinod Sharma, his comments recently, and I think he has put it very well when he has said that when he has noted that in Pakistan we have had to fight against so many things, so many extra constitutional forces, and so we really do appreciate the value of our of press freedom as well as these forces are still at work trying to prevent media from being free. In terms of the expulsion of the two Indian journalists, Meena Menon and Sneha Phillips, it's really unfortunate. And I think, as Mr. Sharma recently pointed out, that Pakistan was trying to quote unquote maintain parity. I think, in my view, that's a very immature position to take because I think it is in our interest and to our benefit as Pakistanis to get views from India by Pakistanis of Pakistanis in India. So for the establishment to say that, well, we don't have any journalists there, so we are not going to let your journalists stay here, I personally think that's a very mature view, and I think that's not a very statesmanlike position to take, and I think that it should be reconsidered. Secondly, I think that times have really changed since the time that Mr. Sharma was talking about when the journalists were earlier let to go. One thing is the rise of the internet. I know most media outlets in Pakistan right now actually have correspondents in India who are Indian.
Yes.
So they are people who are they are local correspondents who are Indian in India, writing or reporting for Pakistani newspapers, TV channels, radio channels. However, that is not the same thing as having somebody go there with a different perspective who is living there as a Pakistani in India. So there may be financial constraints, so they may think, well, media outlets all over the world are cutting down on foreign correspondence, and maybe Pakistani, we don't know why Pakistani journalists are not in India right now. I was told that India wasn't giving clearance to the journalists who were nominated, but I still don't know which journalists were nominated. Nobody does. I don't know if anybody has, any media outlet has tried to send any journalists. I don't think they have personally. I mean, I think that it's just being let go. And it is unfortunate that in that, scheme of things that Meena and Snehesh were sent home because they were doing some really good reporting from Pakistan, which was actually to Pakistan's benefit because both of these journalists are very seasoned journalists. They are open-minded journalists. They are not bigoted. They are not quote-unquote hyper-nationalist or anything like that. And having them in Pakistan was of benefit to Pakistan. So I think Pakistan really should consider, and I think Pakistani media should really make a push to send journalists in. Well, I think that it's part of a process. I think we have to weigh what's going on, and yes, you are right. In this case, and in Meena and Snehesh's case, absolutely it looks like behind the scenes it's the military or the security establishment pulling the strings and saying that they should not be there, and similarly with Declan Walsh. Now, you have to remember, I think with Meena, she had written something about the Balochistan issue, and so had Declan Walsh.
Right.
And that is the sticking point at this right now.
Yes.
It is after that, after his stand on Balochistan, that Hamid Mir was attacked.
Yes.
So it's a very sore point for the Pakistani security establishment. They say that India is involved in funding and arming militant groups in Balochistan. And they say that this is kind of, they don't want to say that this is what we did in Kashmir. But they don't like anybody saying anything about Balochistan.
Right.
It's a very sensitive area, and there are a lot of grays there because there are a lot of different aspects to the issue. It's not as black and white as sometimes it is made out to be. I think that eventually, I believe that if the political process, the democratic political process is allowed to continue, I think eventually the military security establishment will start following policy directives of the elected civilian government. But you have to remember that it takes a long time for those changes to take place. It is like, if a train is going full speed at a certain direction and somebody pulls the chain, then it takes a while for it to come to a stop and change direction. I think that is the same case with Pakistan. The chain has been pulled. The train is slowly coming to a halt, and it will make a U-turn. It will make a turn, but it will take time. And in the meantime, we have to remain, keep up the pressure to support the elected civilian government and to support media freedom and to support freedom of expression in
Right.
all of those. Well, I think I would just reiterate what some other people have already said, that journalists need to keep on interacting and reporting honestly above and beyond religious or national or sectarian considerations.
Right.
And we have to keep raising a voice for each other and for each other's freedoms, whether it is Pakistanis in,
Right.
getting Pakistani journalists in India or getting Indian journalists in Pakistan.
Great. Yeah. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Beena ma'am, for your comments.